So my goal today was a fantastically different thing. I'm lazy. I don't feel like lifting my head off my pillow because I have a headache that will go away shortly, probably when I sleep. I got invited to church today here where I am abroad, and I think the the coolest thing is I've been here for a little over a year and a couple of days, and I've lived by this church for the last 6 months. And I see the people go in the church, and I see people come in and out, and never have I been invited to the church, which is fine. It is what it is. But I happened to be invited by a guy who was Colombian that lived in New York that embraced me being American and said, "Hey, do you want to come to church?" And he said church changed his life. Very cool. So I go to church and come as I am, uh, plain brown T-shirt, blue jeans, and some shoes. Not shoes, but shoes. And walk in is a gigantic church. Apparently, it's an international church, so it's in many other countries. I think they said it was about 30 of those, and it was founded in Bogota. Um, I went in. Obviously, everybody was speaking Spanish, and initially, a lot of people just kind of praying. The two hands up. For the first time ever, it hit me is maybe so you can receive the prayer. I'm not really sure how it's different than like the closed hand prayer thing is, but it's interesting. So first there was the Bible reading part, which I thought was very interesting because obviously it's in Spanish, but like the names are also in Spanish. So it took me a little while to get oriented to how um, how to find things in the Bible. And I felt like the Bible in Spanish was different than the one that I had in English on my phone. And I thought my phone's Bible was pretty updated. Um, but I was did plenty of times where it was Bible verses were there, and you felt the spirit where people wanted to be better. I still mainly think church becomes routine for many people, so they go because they think they're supposed to go or something their family has always done. Um, then the pastor got up and spoke probably for a half an hour. And what was interesting is right before the pastor came, and again, I was sitting with a guy who spoke English and Spanish. Uh, and he mentioned to me, he said, when large groups come and the church is aware of it, they actually give the people headsets so they can hear the sermon or the message in their native tongue, so they'll have someone translate for them. It was so interesting because out of the blue, or maybe someone asked, I'm not really sure, they gave me my own personal translator, which taught me a couple of things about having translators. Number one, because I'm trying to still learn Spanish, having someone talk to me while I'm trying to listen for Spanish translation is a little bit annoying. Because obviously it's after whatever's been said, and so sometimes it's missed. But it was appreciated because it was a rapport, and the guy was trying to help me, and I appreciated that. So the service went on. There was a couple of times where they sang songs, sat down, stood up, sat down, stood up, etc., etc. And at the end of the service, they had an option where people would pray for you and lay hands on your head and do what they do. Um, I don't know. The church experience is one where um, I appreciate, but at the same time, church still feels pushy. Organized religion in itself kind of feels pushy because they feel like they have the answers. I I appreciate that, and I hope they have the answers for their lives themselves. But long story short, I appreciate the event, and it was a very different gesture. It took a year for it to happen, but it was a good year, so I appreciate that. So that was just the 5 minutes of what happened here on social side. I'll do another one for the other things that I do. So as I tick down